I just think if you write it down, it gets so much deeper into your subconscious mind. And then if your last goal of handstand is to do it with one arm, then and you write it down, you create this healthy pressure to get the ass off the couch and to practice handstand because you want to reach that goal. And the more often you write it down, the more often you get reminded that you should go and do one step closer to your goal.
That was Marcel Clementi. Hey everyone, Danny Pomploon, and welcome back to another Yogi Misfit Sessions. Today is session 128, and I've got Marcel on the show. Marcel is one of those people that is one of my Instagram friends. Lots of lovely human beings that I've got to encounter, and Marcel is one of them. He's a newer teacher. He's been doing this for a few years now, and he is, you guys, he's the real deal. He's been going around and learning every other Instagram story you turn to. He's like reading a book, or he's got his nose deep into yoga. He travels around. He teaches a bunch of workshops. He's a super solid guy. In this episode specifically, we talk more about how his journaling journey, which I talk about my own as well in general, and goal setting has really helped him discover what he wants to do and how to support him throughout the way. So we actually get into the context of journaling, why it's great for you, why it's a good time to tune in, so on and so forth. And he's given us a cool little blog too of like tips and tricks just to get started if you're new to that. As always, before we get into the show, if you want to support the show, head over to our support the show link down below. It just helps sustain the show, keeps this content coming out. You can always go to iTunes and leave us a review as well, or just share this episode with your friends. That is just as helpful as anything else. Without further ado, here goes session 128 with Marcel. Marcel, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Danny. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited that we finally got this down.
Yeah, same.
Marcel, remind me where you're at right now.
Now I'm in Innsbruck in Austria.
Okay, you were in Germany for a little bit, no?
Yes, in Augsburg.
Got it. And now you're permanently based in Austria, though.
Yeah, I'm Austrian, but I'm always traveling on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I got kind of stuck in Germany.
because of all the COVID stuff?
Yeah.
Got it. I understand. Okay, cool.
But
cool.
I wasn't friend, so it was totally fine. A lot of yoga practice. She's a teacher as well, so.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great place to get, or that's a good person to get stuck with.
Yeah.
Nice, man. How is everything going in Austria with all this right now?
It used to be really strict, so that's why I decided to just stay in Germany. Mm-hmm. But then, now it's okay. You have to wear a mask if you go into a supermarket or if you drive with the bus or something, but it's getting better and better.
That's good to hear. Yeah, that's really good to hear.
We're all trying to make the best out of it. And the weather is really nice, so people can go for a walk. So it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's interesting, it's hard for me to conceptualize how this is not just affecting one community, but the entire world.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
What have you, well, actually, let's start a little bit with, so Marcel, we met on Instagram how long ago? Like this last year, right?
Yeah, last year when I was in Bali with Flo.
That's how we got connected. Okay. I was trying to rack my brain the other day. I was like, how did we actually, there's a lot of people that I've become friends with and I just don't remember like who started the conversation or how we interacted. Yeah. I didn't realize you were in Bali at the same time.
Yeah. I was trying to come to one of your classes, but I was teaching by myself.
Okay. Yeah. Cause that's really the first time that Flo and Bree and I hung out, and Jacob was out there as well, but I had known Jacob for a little bit, and I had invited Flo and Bree to come take class with me, and they actually came and hang out, and that's how we became friends. And now Flo is literally like probably my best guy friend.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know. I see you guys shaving your heads.
We got other people to do it too.
Like like a really serious person. I don't know how to say in English, like a murderer.
Like a thug.
But it looks good on you.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know if I want to be known as a murderer, but I'll take it.
No, you look like a yogi with your haircut. But I would.
Thanks.
I did it when I went to the army, and it looked terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
But you can't get your haircut right now anywhere, so.
No, I let it grow.
So how did you get started? I know you're up to a lot, Marcel. You have quickly been, bouncing around all the yoga circuits. You've been doing a lot of festivals and workshops and whatnot. And, one of the things that really attracted me to you is, I talk a lot of shit on Instagram, a lot, and I absolutely love it. There's some parts of Instagram I don't like, but let's be honest, I'm on it every day. I'm talking to people on it every day. I now have accepted it and have integrated it into my life. And one of the things that really speaks out to me about you and the way that you present yourself is just how kind you are on there, no matter what, and you offer so much to people. Whether it's yoga practices or meditation practices or whatever it is, you speak from such a place of authenticity. Like, you're a kind guy in your post, and I know you, and I know you're just a very sweet human in general. How did you get there?
Yeah. First of all, thanks, Danny. It means a lot to me. Yeah. You mean how I got into this whole yoga thing?
Yeah.
I always loved traveling, and I was always into sports and health and cooking because my parents own a vegetable and fruit shop. And I used to work there since I'm 14, besides school, and always traveled and worked. And I finished school with graduating something like business college. And then I wanted to study to become a teacher for sports and languages. But I also wanted to be a TV host.
Okay.
So I didn't know if I should start studying and going to the university. So I started working at the radio, but it wasn't my thing. I wanted to also, I don't know how to say it, that it doesn't sound stupid. I also wanted to be seen, not only heard.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
that makes sense.
So I don't like listening to the radio because they're just talking about news and stuff. So I thought, no, this is not the thing I want to do. And then I continued working with my parents. And then from 40 hours a week, I worked 50 hours, 60 hours. And I was only 24 years old. And I thought, oh, this is not the way I want my life to be. Yeah, and then I was looking for something to calm down. And then I started actually first with meditation. And I grabbed a book and read about it and started meditating. And when I went to my first yoga class in the gym, because I was going to the gym at this time 5 times a week, so only working gym. So I thought I'd go to a yoga class. It's for free. Already in my membership, and it was terrible. She didn't explain anything, so I was just up dog, down dog. It was in English, and at this time I had no idea about upward facing dog or something. No, yoga, that's definitely not my thing, but I stay with meditation. And then I started traveling more, and I wanted to get more into fitness and stuff. And then I went to Thailand to do Muay Thai. And then I injured my leg, and I already paid for 1 month. So I thought, what should I do? And then I went to the yoga classes there, and they were designed for athletes and for men. And it was really great. Like, I felt so much better and more flexible. And one coincidence after another, I met some people and I said, I would love to be a personal trainer. And everyone I told about it, they said, no, you should be a yoga teacher. And I said, no, I don't know. And then again, an Indian guy said, you should go to India. You seem like you would be a good yoga teacher. And I said, well, I don't know, maybe part of the fitness or something. And then I just decided spontaneously to grab my bags and to go to India, and I did my teacher training. And I know usually you should have a practice before, but I hadn't maybe visited 5 classes. And then I was practicing there, and I had no idea. I was there with my ex-girlfriend, so at this time we were together, and she was a ballerina, so she was really flexible. But I was the most inflexible person of all. And she said, they will find out that you haven't done 6 months of yoga. And I said, no, I just say my teachers suck.
That's funny. I didn't realize you had it. You just kind of got thrown into it.
Yeah. And then, everything changed. Since then, I'm practicing almost every day. I started working one day already after I graduated in India in a hotel. And then I came back, started my self-employment, and so many people adopted me and said, no, everyone is a yoga teacher, or the opposite. They say, no, this is not a job. You won't earn money. Even the woman in the bank, when I wanted to open a business bank account, she laughed at me and said, yeah, well, you can always go back to your parents in the future. Yeah, crazy. I'm so happy that I didn't listen to anyone else and to just followed my dream. And now I'm living my dream, and I'm so grateful.
That's awesome. I didn't. I can't imagine. I can't believe. Like, same. So many people were like, "Are you sure you want to go teach yoga?" And
Yeah,
I mean, I had loved. I never thought it would be where I'm at with it today. But
yeah.
I am so grateful that I get to do all the beautiful things that I get to do. Throughout the process, Marcel, and I've seen your growth, in just a short amount of time. You seem to have a lot of practices. Like, we share a lot of similar practices of staying grounded and tuning in. And again, like I was saying at the start, one of the things that I really love is you're always inquiring and you're always going in and reading different books and getting to know yourself. And you talk a lot about journaling, and I am a huge fanatic of journaling. It's really what I wanted to get into today with you. For me, journaling has been like life changing, and it's a great way to just like tune in and get to know myself a little bit better, and also to contemplate. As things come up in meditation and things come up in practice. You've been such a big advocate about it. How has this impacted your life, and how did that unfold?
Yeah, it also started in India, honestly, when I met a guy, and he was 50 years old, but he looked like 38, and he was so, he had something radiant. And I always ask him, how did you do that? How are you so positive, and how achieved you so many things in your life? And then he said, yeah, he's journaling for years, and he showed me some old entries, and yeah, this is how I started. And then there's not a fixed rule. So for 2 years now, I'm writing whenever I want to write, and I'm always carrying it with me wherever I go. And yeah, it's crazy. If I see old journals of 2 years ago, the goals I have written down, so many things happen to, just being part of my life now. And it's insane. It's like you said, it changes your whole life. It's crazy. It's like magic.
What's the process like for you? Like, when you start to set aside the time, the space, whatever it is, to start to get ready to journal, like, what is that like?
Yeah, the thing is that I don't have any fixed rules. So sometimes it's just writing down a to-do list or something, but sometimes I meditate before, or I even take the journal sometimes with me on the yoga mat. And when I get some thoughts or some ideas, I stop and then I write them down. So I think this is one of the most important things, to not pressuring yourself to, like, I know you have a morning routine. I'm also a huge fan of morning routines, or routines in general. But journaling was part of my routine, but I took it out because I felt too much pressure. Because there are days where you just don't want to write, or if you use it like a diary and you just write every day, today was a good day, I'm grateful. Then, it's always the same. So there's so many different ways. It's an empty book, but afterwards, it's full of magic, it's like full of all your dreams, all your goals, like your timetables, and you see how often you change your thoughts. And yeah, it's like spending quality time with yourself, like talking with yourself, having conversations.
Yeah, it's a way to inquire, and also to, not just inquire, but also to settle into the information. That we're so inundated with information on a day-to-day, basis, that it's nice to be able to sit there and process some of it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you just freestyle and flow when you journal. So there's no structure for it. You just go wild and you go rogue.
Yeah, I always go wild, Danny.
So here's my little, like, here's what I and I think you wrote something recently on tips, and actually, let's the tips and tricks that you wrote for journaling. What were some of the things that you put in there?
The tips is or are first of all, that you should always be real, like honest with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really your own thing. It's like it should be your secret place. So you're really writing it to yourself. If you, I don't know, if there is a thing you're afraid of, feel free to write it down. You don't have to show it to anyone. So it's really for yourself. There is no right or wrong. And you can
Mm-hmm.
use this journal in any way. And that's the thing. It's also boosting your creativity, and there's so many ways to use it. For example, I'm using it, of course, to write down goals, as I mentioned before, and some of them I already achieved in such a quick time, where I'm really wondering sometimes, so how did this happen? I always wanted to be part of the podcast, and now it happened. It's my first podcast interview. And it's the same with like yoga festivals, or I don't know. I just think if you write it down, it gets so much deeper into your subconscious mind. And then if you, for example, if your goal is to have a beautiful apartment, then and you write it down, your subconscious mind always reminds you that if you want to have a beautiful apartment, you can't spend the whole salary you earn on fancy yoga pants, for example. Or if you want to learn if your last goal of handstand is to do it with one arm, then and you write it down, you create this healthy pressure at
Mm-hmm.
the ass of the couch and to practice handstand, because you want to reach that goal. And the more often you write it down, the more often you get reminded that you should go and do one step closer to your goal, to achieve the goal.
Mm.
So it's like always reminding yourself to in which way you have to go. But of course, I want to mention this as well. It's not about getting goals like achieving this and this and this, because then it will never end. You will always run goal after goal after goal, but it's the journey. For example, I mean, of course, we have heard it in the yoga world so many times, like it's all about the journey, right? But it really is. It is like, if you, for example, I always wanted to be part of a huge yoga festival, to just connect with the people, and I love this feeling of teaching in front of a lot, because there is such a great energy. And I know to be invited for a big yoga festival, you have to become a good teacher. So you have to study. So you have to learn. So even on days when I feel lazy or I didn't get the right motivation, I just open up my journal and then I read my goals, and I know, all right, if you want to be part of, now in Europe, there is one of the biggest yoga festivals, and they invited me this year. And I was so excited. Unfortunately, it's cancelled because of the situation. But it's only happening if you always doing the work that's necessary, and your journal reminds you. It's like a best friend who taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, bro, you have to do it. You have to learn. You have to study. Go on the mat, practice.
I love that. It's a way to keep yourself accountable. Like I definitely, I journal every day, obviously. And I do mine a little more structured. Some of the things that I wanted to pull from the show, I actually did a little bit of research on some studies on journaling.
Uh-huh.
And there's two major schools here in the United States that have found that journaling actually helps people, helps like not only just managing like your goals and things like that, but one of the reasons like I do it is actually for my mental health. So there was two studies that were found that journaling actually can help manage anxiety, reduce stress, help you cope with depression, and kind of the things that you were saying, like not only just boosting your mood, but it helps you control some of the symptoms or to get to know them better, like helping you prioritize your problems, checking into your fears and your concerns, and then you track your symptoms or your triggers along the way so that you know not to be reactive on a day-to-day basis, right? So that you know, oh, when this happened, when I reflected and this happened, X happened, right? So on and so forth. And then kind of like just tying back into what you said, it's this conversation that you get to have with you. And it's not just like always positive talk inside that conversation, right? But it's getting to know the sides of yourself that really need some extra love, that need some extra support, the things that want to be heard. And I love what you said about meditating and like journaling. I stress that so much. I stress journaling after practicing. I stress journaling after meditating. I stress after you have whatever experience it is that you're having, being able to have a place where you can let that stuff live so that you can process it is great. And here's another one that I love is at the end of your day is also a great place to start journaling because you're going about your day, doing whatever it is that you're doing, all the millions of things and running around and blah, 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 blah. And what people forget is sleep is not only for our bodies to rest, but sleep is also where memories are made, right? So that's the part of the purpose of sleep is where memories start to get stored. So if we go to bed and, we're going to bed with, I don't know, a mind full of the day, whether that's, running in this and running in that and, watching, garbage on your phone and da, 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 you're going to be integrating that into your sleep cycle, which is, again, where you're starting to compute all of that information. So rather than doing that, taking a moment to even take like a 2-minute meditation at the end of the day, just before bed, right? So that you can process what it was and then writing whatever comes up out so that you've now not only gotten it out of your head, but you've put it in a place where it's secured and you get to go into the rest of your evening. You get to go into your sleep cycle and go in it with a clear mind.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. And one of the other, so I have a little recipe for how I journal. So I'm going to share this with you, Marcel, and also with everyone else tuning in. Here's the way that I do this. And I actually got this from another friend who journaled as well. But I always start the day with, I have an empty book and I start the day with, a check-in. So today I feel whatever. Today I feel grounded. Today I feel anxious. Today I feel scared. Today I feel happy. Today I feel just something really tangible, not something in between, but like, how do I actually feel today? Right. And then the other thing that I do is I do a small gratitude list, and I never do more than 3 things. One of the other studies that I found is what tends to happen is people that do gratitude list and they do more than 3, if they can't do more than 3, they start to seek for something, right? They start to try to add something in, and it actually will have a negative effect, right? So if you can't find more than a 3rd thing, you're like, oh, well, I'm not grateful enough, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So I'll start with a small gratitude list, 3 things. There's some days where that's really easy. And then there's other days where that's really hard. There's some days where I'm like, well, I don't know. Like it's the same stuff that it was yesterday. So when that happens, I'll do something like I'm gratitude for my cup of coffee this morning, or I'm gratitude for, my beating heart or whatever. It tends to be a lot for me, people. I always think about the people that I interacted with the day before, conversations that I had, so on and so forth. So I'll do today I feel, and then gratitude. And then I'll move into goals for the day. So I'll do 3 little goals, whether that's like setting up an Instagram post or getting on the podcast with Marcel, or I don't know, cleaning my room or whatever it is that I have to do, but some 3 attainable goals. And then I give myself a break. So it's like my happy hour, and it's something kind that I do for myself, and I write it down. So it could be a bath. It could be going for a walk for an hour with no phone and no technology, just an hour in nature. Sometimes it's going to the float place that I love to go do, or doing a cryo treatment, or something that is kind and nourishing for myself. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always have to be like external. It could be like a yoga nidra or something like that. And then I'll leave some space for like any affirmations that I have or that I'm working with, right? I have had these 2 affirmations that I've been working with for quite a while. One of them I got from Gabby Bernstein, who's like one of my favorite authors and self-help people. And that one is, everything is happening around me and I am truly taken care of. So I'll write that down, and then anything else that I'm like working on my affirmations. And then after I get that little like recipe down, then the next page or wherever there's space, I'll start to just free write whatever comes up. So the way that I normally integrate this is I wake up in the morning, as like you were saying, part of my morning ritual. And I've talked a lot about that on the podcast because it's changed my life for sure. Yeah. I do my morning water in the morning, lemon water, and then I get fresh sunlight. Sometimes it's too early to do that, but I'll at least go outside for 5 minutes with no phone, no nothing, just 5 minutes outside, either in the sun or in the fresh air. Even if it's raining, I still go outside.
That's good.
Yeah. And then I sit. Just get outside. Just your body needs to know it's awake time and you need to connect to nature. And then I will sit and do my pranayama, the daily pranayama kriya that I do every day. And then I'll meditate for, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 30. And then the magic of journaling happens after that. And that can go a couple of minutes and that can go a couple of hours, but it's really where I get to download and manifest for the day.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's like I don't have to keep all of this stuck inside of my head. I get to share this with myself in a tangible way, and I get to step back and look at it. You know, I get to observe it versus letting it live in my head and trying to react.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So for, if you know, people that are new to journaling, right, if they want to get started, what's your best advice for them?
To just write, just sit and write. I think this is the best. And of course, before I talked a lot about goals and, you know, like boosting creativity and stuff, but it's like you mentioned, it's not always people. People get that image of my Instagram or from my stories that I'm always this happy guy, but of course I'm not. And I'm also sharing this in social media because I think it's important that people know that also yoga teachers are not always happy 24/7 and we're not always smiling. And of course, we're trying to make the best out of it, and we're spending a lot of time practicing and also learning about ourselves, which helps to deal with struggles and situations. But of course, we have our ups and downs as anyone else in life. And this is where the journaling really helped me. Like you said that it helps you to overcome fear, for example. So for me personally, sometimes I feel so stressed. You know, you mentioned it when we were chatting on Instagram that we're both so busy bees. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, this is why I didn't make any rules for my journaling, because I'm already so determined. Like I have to do this and this and this. And this is why I want to keep the journaling as wild as possible.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there are days when I feel so overwhelmed, or there are moments where I'm so doubting myself. Like when I'm sitting there and I think, I have no idea about yoga. I have no idea what I'm teaching. You know, it's like this, self-doubt. And then I just sit there and write down, no, you know about this, you learned about this, you did this, you were there, you taught in this country. And, you know, just to calming down myself. And I think it's not only about teaching. There is so many fears or things going through our mind, especially now during this Corona, this COVID. It's crazy. Like you're sitting at home, some people losing their jobs, and we don't know, is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months? Is it, I don't know. I don't want to say any longer period than 2 months.
Careful what you say, right?
Yeah, exactly. But of course, this makes us afraid. And of course, we're struggling with the situation. And this is the moment where I sat down and put out my journal and I wrote down, all right, what can I do with this situation? What can I learn from COVID-19 or from this situation? What could I do to make the best out of it? So I'm using this time to learn, to study. I have more time for practice. So maybe this sounds stupid, but what is the positive thing about COVID, for example? This helped me so much to deal with the situation. And then after this, I sat down, all right, what's the to-do list or like a daily routine just for the current situation? Getting up, allowing myself to sleep a little longer, but practice every day, handstand practice every day, reading every day, and then enough time to do nothing. You know, also, I think also, like you said, time to go out or to do nothing should be part of a schedule of a to-do list. Like I really write it down, like do nothing for 30 minutes, like play with your phone or I don't know, watch nonsense on Netflix. It's important.
Yeah.
And I think that if you are afraid or you feel stressed or overwhelmed with the situation, often you don't really know what it is. You feel stressed because you think you have so many things to do. And then actually you write it down and you see, oh, only three things. What should I do with the rest of the day? This happened to me so often that I feel stressed, and then it's not that hard. It's not that much.
I mean, it's easy to do that, right?
Yeah.
If you don't look at it all, it's totally easy to get wrapped up in it.
Exactly.
I agree, man. It's just it's a place where we get to find refuge and where we get to like tune in, and we get to be honest with ourselves, which is, you know, the best part of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes it's like if you put light into darkness, like if you don't know what you're afraid of or what's stressing you out so much, and then once you write it down, it disappears because you get conscious about it.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts to share with us before we round out, Marcel?
Yeah, to sum it up, guys, I can only suggest you to start writing a journal today. It doesn't need to be fancy. Some people asking me, "Oh, what journal do you have?" And I know there is some already with some quotes inside, but it's not about what's already inside. It's what about you will write into it. And yeah, to sum it up, for my biggest tips are that you just always carry it with you. If you want to go wild on writing like I do, or if they want to have it more like part of their routine, because otherwise they might forget about it, then I think they should really take your advice and to make it part of the daily routine, especially before going to bed. I love that idea. I'm also meditating before I go to bed, and maybe you inspired me now to write some last sentences before I go to bed.
Try it out. And you know what would be cool, Marcel? We should talk about it, but maybe we do like a journaling challenge on Instagram.
A challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Like if we all like,
Yeah.
or like a tune-in or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to be able to get people to try it out together, you know?
Yeah. First, we're all shaving our heads, and then we're journaling.
Shave your head, and then you can join the journaling contest.
Yeah. My second thing that what really helped me is to write down goals. It doesn't matter if it's for this day, like you said, a to-do list, or for the week, the month, next 1, 2, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, to mention it, I think it's really important to be honest with you. I hope you cannot hear my dog drinking. Is it too loud?
That's okay. We love your dog.
Yeah, to be real and honest with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're afraid, if you have struggles, or if you have a bad day, then yeah, be honest with yourself. Just write it down. And
That's awesome.
also the gratitude list. It's so beautiful, because a positive mindset is something you can train. It's not something you're born with. I mean, of course, there are people who are just more friendly than others, but we all know happiness is a choice. And if you train your mind to focus on the positive, it's like going to the gym for your body, then yeah, it becomes so much easier to see the positive in every situation, no matter what's happening. You always find 3 things, like you said, to be grateful for.
I
And
agree, man.
my last tip is that you shouldn't stress yourself. If you don't want to write, then don't write. Then enjoy your coffee or do something else. But just know that whenever you need it, it's there for you. And yeah, so always carry it with you and just be honest.
Awesome. Well, Marcel, like I said earlier, man, it's been very cool to watch you grow. I'm so proud of all the things that you've done so far, and I can't wait to see where your adventure goes. And also, I can't wait to adventure with you. I know we got some things to line up and to chat about for the upcoming year. So, thanks again for taking your time and sharing your energy with us, Marcel. And
thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Until the next Yogi Misfit sessions, this is Danny and Marcel saying peace out.